did the roles of mothers in classic literature compared to that in classic Disney movies. So basically, I believe that there is a correlation between the roles of mother in classic literature that we read, which in my case would be Beowulf, Oedipus Rex, and Canterbury Tales, as well as in some classic Disney movies, which the ones for this purpose are Dumbo, Maleficent, and Pinocchio. So that probably sounds a little weird, but we're gonna power through. So in the mother figures, mothers throughout the years have always had a very strong influence in literature. In these classic literature pieces, many of the women depicted, if there were any women depicted, were not exactly depicted in the best light or strongest, but always the mothers, like Grendel's mother in Beowulf, Jocasta in Oedipus Rex, and the Virgin Mary in Canterbury Tales, they all have a different kind of power about them. They're stronger and more powerful than just like the normal love interest. So what we have here is some Twitter pages from our characters. So this is Grendel's mother's Twitter page. And so the events depicted here are like from Grendel's death, she tweets at her son that she misses him a lot. And then, and the trending hashtag on Twitter is RIP Grendel, because everyone is kind of sad. But also, as we see here, Mead Hall, which is where they would all go and have fun, they are all celebrating Grendel's death, and she's telling them to kind of watch out because she might stop by later. She is planning on live tweeting her fight with Beowulf, and then she's telling Beowulf that he needs to be prepared for what's going to happen. So over here we have some pictures, and so there's there's two pictures of Grendel because she's really protective and she loves her child a lot, as a mother should. And then there's his arm that Beowulf is holding up. There's another picture of Beowulf, some writings, and then a picture of her home near the lake. So yeah. And then our next one is Queen Jocasta, and this kind of ranges from about the middle of the play, whenever Creon is like kind of being mean to Oedipus, to about the end of the play. So she starts out telling Creon that he basically needs to bug off because he's being a royal pain, and then she is often tweeting at Oedipus to just calm down and take a step back and not work so hard because she doesn't really want him to figure out anything. Tiresias always sees everything coming, even though he's blind. And then my personal favorite is whenever he supposedly asks how she's faring, I'm hanging in there. So over here we have some more pictures. Behind her in her little header is one of the versions of one of the many sets used for Oedipus Rex. This picture says you cannot escape your fate. Here's a picture of Oedipus's bleeding eyes, one of the traditional masks used in Greek tragedies, and then also just one of the paintings that would be used on traditional Greek pottery. So move on. Now we get to the Virgin Mary from Canterbury Tales. So basically, the main part that she is in Canterbury Tales falls in the Prioress's Tale. So most of it is based from the Prioress's Tale, but of course she has to get her 2 cents into Chaucer, saying how she's really working on him to make his way to a better life, away from the bodiness that he's used to. But Amor Vincat Omnia is Latin, and it was used in the Prioress's Tale. It was what she kind of carried around, and it's basically love conquers all things, which is basically a very good kind of thing for her and for most mothers. So, and then the pictures over here are just some flowers, some stuff about nuns, because that's what a prioress is for nuns. So she really likes them, and then a rosary. So moving on from there, now we're into our Disney characters. So Mrs. Jumbo is, of course, Dumbo's mother, and in the movie, she's very protective of her child to the point where it ends up getting her in trouble and locked away for a while. So since he has big ears, he's made fun of a lot, and she doesn't really like that, which we can liken back to Grendel's mother, who after he's killed by Beowulf, she kind of goes back after him for a revenge type deal. So of course, Mrs. Jumbo doesn't kill anybody, and Dumbo lives. You know, same difference. It's close. So Maleficent, which I based this off of the new movie Maleficent more than the traditional Sleeping Beauty, because in the new movie, if you've seen it, she takes more of the mothering role in ways, because after Princess Aurora is sent off to the woods with the three fairies, they're kind of neglecting of her, so she kind of becomes this adoptive mother, and she doesn't want the child to know that she is the one who put the curse on her, and she's the reason she can't be with her parents, and she's evil. So she's hiding a lot of secrets, like Jocasta is hiding a lot of secrets. So, and then we come to the Blue Fairy, which I liken to the Virgin Mary, not just because they're both depicted often in blue, but also because they both take into account wishes and prayers and try to make love and happiness present in the world. So, for our side-by-sides, for Beowulf and Dumbo, Grendel's mother is prone to violence. But at the same time, she didn't do anything until they kind of pushed her to it, which is similar to Mrs. Jumbo. They had never hurt anyone until someone hurt their sons. They're both caring and loving in nature, as their son is mainly their only family. And they're both after revenge and protection. But my question, if Grendel's mother is depicted as a monster, and is Mrs. Jumbo really like a good person in the story? Like, is she like a heroine, or is she also a monster? So that's something to think about. Oedipus Rex versus Maleficent. Jocasta feels some remorse for her actions whenever the baby's born, so she gives it to the herdsman to go kill because she doesn't want her husband to end up dead. And then at the same time, she tries to conceal a secret in some ways, because at one point, even if she didn't know from the beginning, she does find out and tries to keep Oedipus from discovering the truth about his lineage. And then once the secret is found out, everything kind of goes bad for both of them. Jocasta dies, and Princess Aurora in Maleficent runs away and then dies. Doesn't die, she just sleeps. But then she hangs herself out. Jocasta hangs herself out of guilt, but Maleficent runs away, but then returns because of her love for Aurora. And so that's kind of parallels, but not parallels. Canterbury Tales versus Pinocchio. So they're both often depicted in blue hues. The Virgin Mary is the subject of honor and prayer, so people pray to her, while the Blue Fairy, people like wish on stars and are like, hey, this is like my one desire. So they both kind of share that ideal of hope. And then they're both examples for others on how to live, while the Blue Fairy's kind of an advisor on how to live, because she comes down and she's like, hey, Pinocchio, stop lying, that's not good. While the Virgin Mary's just like, I didn't lie, so you shouldn't lie. But they both are kind of a protection. They watch over people. And then the Virgin Mary has more of a message of love and happiness unconditionally, while the blueberry is more of a love and happiness with a few conditions, like be good, don't get in trouble, stay in school, and stuff like that. So in conclusion, Beowulf and Oedipus Rex, they're both directly by blood mothers, which the others aren't. Well, the others are. These are both have directly by blood mothers, and they show both the good and evil sides that come with mothering, because they're protective, but also they take that a little bit too far sometimes. The Canterbury Tales is just kind of a figurehead of a mother in Mary. She showed the good with little evil. I say evil because in the Prioress's tale, the child does end up dying, but she saves him for a little while so he can sing, which can be seen as evil. And Canterbury Tales also focused their women roles more in the religion than anything else. And common threads throughout all of them: protection, love in different ways for Jocasta, and then all of them have some sort of sacrifice that they've made for their sons. And so, how to be a mother in classic literature. So you have to be strong and independent. You have to be caring and loving. Be a protector. Be willing to fight for your child. Be willing to fight for yourself. And be willing to fight for others. So be a good fighter. Pretty much good. Have a tough side to the world, but a soft side to your son and to those closest to you. Be vulnerable at some times, but not reckless. Be willing to make sacrifices. Have good, strong morals. Stand your ground, always. None of the mothers compromised on anything. Balance the world on your finger. And know when it's time to take a stand. And don't let anyone mess with your family or anyone you care about.